guys, it's Ahmer here. So today I have another mail call / pickups video for you. A lot of these items are actually pretty neat items. We have some prototypes, some store displays, some vintage items, and some pretty cool games. So let's go ahead and check them out. So first up, this was actually a recent Facebook Marketplace score. This is a sealed cereal box. So I thought this would be pretty awesome to add in my room upstairs where I have a lot of action figures and toys, and I have most of my Batman items up there. So this is actually still sealed. This is an original Batman cereal box, and it has this pretty awesome seal and seam and everything on here. Doesn't look like it's been damaged or opened up or anything else. The edges all still look like they're in pretty good tact. And then right here, this actually advertises that it came with a free bank with purchase. So this is a pretty cool Batman bank right here. This is a great display item. Definitely adds that vintage look. I'm sure some of you guys have actually had this. This is the natural honey nut flavor, and they're actually shaped like the little bat symbol. So this is pretty cool. And this says 1989, I believe, on here. Yes, so it says Batman and all related characters, logos, and slogans are trademarks of DC Comics Incorporated, copyright 1989. So this is a pretty cool vintage cereal. I'm not really the big cereal collector, but I figured I had to pick this up. A friend actually pointed it out to me. Thought it would look pretty cool in my Batman area in the room upstairs, so I figured it would look great on the shelf. So now I collect cereal, and I'll have to go ahead and find some Mario Brothers and other cereals out there. So this is actually pretty cool. If I could find one of these banks loose, that would be even better. And then next up, I have this package right here. This was actually from Facebook, one of the groups in there, one of the Xbox groups, where we have this pretty awesome prototype. So I'm really excited to open this up and see what is included in here, as I know nothing about this item. Looks like it's packaged up very well, so that is a plus, as one of the items that I will show you in just a few was not packaged up very well at all, so hopefully this one saves the day. So this is how you should package something. You have to have multiple layers of different packing material, so this is perfect. Alright, so this right here is actually really cool. So you may be thinking, this looks just like an Xbox 360 controller. Well, this is actually a pretty sweet prototype. This says right here, Xbox 360 controller, Krypton, Microsoft Corporation, Redmond, Washington, for use with Xbox 360. So we have this really cool controller. Now this is very close to what a finished product would have looked like. So we have some major differences that I noticed right away. So of course right here, this little button, it doesn't actually have the emblem on here. So it looks like maybe this was prior to them actually deciding on what the logo would look like for that button. And then of course we have these little indentations that kind of tell you what all of these little joysticks and buttons are. So this is just really sweet to have in the collection. It's definitely a great piece of history and something that has helped shape the Xbox over the years, and just go ahead and get to that finalized product. So it looks pretty similar on the rest of the controller, just right there on the back where it actually says the Xbox 360 controller Krypton, and everything appears to be in pretty decent shape. Does have a little bit of wear and tear on it, and that would probably be explained as they were testing out these controllers and just kind of morphing some things to see how they would turn out. So this is definitely a pretty cool piece to have in the collection, especially in the Xbox area and along with some of my prototype games that I have. So this is definitely pretty sweet. And then moving on to this large pickup right here. So you may be thinking this kind of looks like a backpack. So this has this pretty cool handle right here, and this is definitely not a backpack. So if we just go ahead and open this up, this is this pretty cool Gamester controller. Now this thing actually morphs into this large controller. So this is definitely pretty cool, as I have never seen anything like this. And here we just go ahead and set it up. So this is this racing seat. So of course it's not like those pretty hardcore racing seats that you see nowadays, the ones that cost several $100s. This you can actually still find fairly cheap. And you just go ahead and set it up. It has these foot pedals on here, and then it has a spot where you can go ahead and actually set up the racing wheel. Of course, we need way more room for this than just this table here, and then this would just snap right into place. So now you have this pretty cool racing simulation. So this would have been all the rage back in the day. Looks like this would have been probably on the Xbox and PlayStation 2. That's what the two little ports at the bottom have. This is the Gamester racing chair. So this is pretty neat, as it has all of these foot pedal action and everything on here. It actually looks pretty sturdy. Of course, I'm sure if you were to play this, you'd probably have to play back in the day, because now this would probably be quite uncomfortable. So this would have been pretty neat to have back in the day to simulate some of those racing games. So I'll have to try this thing out and maybe put it to use and see how well it actually does, as I have never seen this before. I'm actually intrigued by it. It has all of these different buttons on here as well, different modes, sensitivity, and everything else. So that's actually pretty cool that they had something like this. Now, I would have never known about this, as I did not get into these racing simulation games until I got older, and then I was lucky enough to grab one of those pretty awesome racing chairs that you could just hook up the actual racing wheel and pedals and everything on there, so it's not all kind of connected. It does have some adjustability on here, so that is pretty cool as well. And then I really like how you can just fold everything back down. And it just has this easy storage. So I'm not really too sure how everything works on here. I don't even know if this thing holds up anymore. Not really even too sure if this thing works, but I figured for just a few dollars I could add it to the collection, as it definitely has a pretty neat aspect to it and is pretty cool to have. And then onto this stack of games right here. These are games that I often do not see, especially for these great shapes and the condition and just everything being included in these. So this is one that immediately caught my eye. So this is called Frankenstein's Monster, and this is for the Atari video game system and Sears Telegames Video Arcade. And this is a data age game. So this is pretty sweet, because this game is actually apparently a lot of fun. It really looks cool. It says, in the cold dark night, you make your way through the ghoulish castle of Dr. Frankenstein. There you must prevent him from completing his creation. Your only chance is to gather stones from the dungeon and bring them to the tower, where you must build a barricade around Frankenstein's monster before he has accumulated enough energy to come alive. To succeed, you will have to move fast, avoiding poisonous spiders, vampire bats, and terrifying ghosts. Complete the job and the village will be safe forever. So this is actually really cool, because when I saw this, I immediately looked up the price, as I had never seen anything like it. And this is actually a pretty expensive game, and to find it complete with the cartridge in here and it's in fairly good shape. It doesn't look like it's been torn or anything. Just has some little spots on here that should just wipe right off. So it says 1 or 2 players joystick controller from 1983, and this art style is just so cool looking. So I really like this artwork and everything else on this box. It even comes with the instruction manual. So this is fully complete. It has these images on here of your characters and creatures to avoid. So it says friend foiling, objective, and ghoulish creatures to avoid. So it kind of gives you a little bit of information about it. It has a little section on how to stop Frankenstein's monster, and then it just gives you a little how-to. So this is actually really neat, and I got this for less than the price that it would cost on eBay just for the loose cart. So to find this fully complete, in very good shape, and something that I've never even seen before, and to find it local is just pretty awesome, because this is a really great game as what I've been told, and I'm just excited to add it to the collection, get it all cleaned up, and then display it over in my vintage area. And then on to this PlayStation 2 game. So this was actually handpicked by a buddy of mine who went to the flea market with me. This is called War of the Monsters, and it has this really cool graphic and art style on here. It says stare in disbelief, scream in horror, run for your life. 100-foot tall monsters have stormed the world, causing panic and despair. Engaged in a savage battle, these raging behemoths won't let anything stand in their way. Which one will win this war of the monsters? 10 massively destructive monsters, 13 fully destructible environments, unlimited weapons, advanced fighting system, 2-player split screen merges into one for full screen brawling. Unlock bonus monsters, levels, and minigames. Only the meanest monster survives. So this looks really cool as there's so many different monsters in here. It kind of has this pretty sweet feel. So here we have this instruction manual. It says Global Observer Special Edition. Kind of makes it look like this movie feature or some type of magazine style. So this is really cool. It tells you all of the in-game options and controls, and even the monsters in here, there's special attacks too. So there are just some really cool looking designs and monsters. Even has this little registration part on the back. And then this is something that's often missing from this game, which I found out because every copy at the store was missing this except for this one. So of course I picked up this one as it's complete. So it has this really cool poster in here. So it says, the fate of the world hangs in the balance. So here we have War of the Monsters. So this really has this cool vintage style feel. It says, live in your world, play in ours. And this is a really cool PlayStation 2 display right here. And then on the back, it has this Global Observer, like it's in the newspaper, War of the Monsters. And it just has all of these different movies right here mentioned. So it says this week's new movies, and it just has this really cool feel to it and this really awesome display of everything. So I can't wait to try this game out. As I've heard, it's very fun. The controls and everything are great. It still holds up today, and this game is one that goes for a pretty decent price. It's not just a cheap $2 game. So it's one that if you can find pretty cheap, I would definitely pick it up, as I've heard amazing things about it, and I can't wait to try it out. And then on to this copy. So here we have this Dreamcast game. This is called Red Dog, and it says Superior Firepower. Red Dog is one of the best original Dreamcast games ever created. Great single and multiplayer fun. Buy this game. So this actually looks really cool. It kind of has this like tank style feel, and it says, as commander of the Red Dog assault vehicle, your job is to rid our people of the now aggressive hack forces occupying the continents of Earth. You'll utilize Red Dog's advanced weaponry and armor as you engage in a variety of search and destroy, escort, and defense missions. So this actually looks really cool, and I was just excited to find this one, as I think this is a newer game that my flea market actually put out on display. So I'm excited for that. And then some more Sega. We have this Baku, and this is a Sega Saturn game. This is actually a really fun puzzle style game. It says the ultimate puzzle game in a wacky world of animals. So I recently discovered this game. I saw someone else talking about it, and I figured I would give it a try as I love these puzzle style games. Everything was complete in here with the manual, the back art, the game disc, and this little foam piece. So this is actually really cool. Can't wait to try this out and see how this game plays, as I really have been meaning to pull out my Sega Saturn and actually get some gameplay. And then on to this last item here. So this item I actually saw in a Facebook group, and I saw one sell for around $300 to $400, and I was on eBay just searching through, and I saw this really small image of part of this display item, and I thought, wow, that's very cheap. So I figured I would go ahead and best offer on it, and next thing you know, I get this envelope shipped to me, and I see that it says sealed, rewrapped, resealed, and I am very confused because at any time I've ever ordered a big large banner or some sort of store display, I would think that they would be packaged up a lot better than just a little envelope. So of course I open it up and I discover that someone had folded this huge store display banner in several little pieces, and they went ahead and they wrapped it up with a bunch of rubber bands. So anyway, I was told that because this is a vinyl banner, all I have to do is just hang it up and use a hair dryer, and it'll kind of heat up a little bit and I can get some of the creases out. So luckily it doesn't have very many messed up edges on it, so it didn't look like the banner's paint or anything else had rubbed off. It just looks like there's a little bit of creasing and some bends and folds. But either way, this is such a cool display banner. So this says Raw is War, and then at the bottom it's hard to tell. I'll try and get an overview of this. It's for the Super Nintendo, the Game Boy, Game Gear, and the Genesis. So this is such a great game. I remember playing this back in the day on the Sega Genesis. This was something where I loved a lot of these wrestlers. I really enjoyed watching this, and these characters and just wrestlers really came to life in this game. It was so much fun. I loved playing all of these wrestling games back in the day. Of course, we have Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, and just some other classics in here. Just some really cool wrestlers, and I just love this image. This is only the second banner I've ever seen of this before. The first one I actually just saw a few weeks ago, and then I saw this one, and I knew I had to pick it up as it was such a great price, a great addition to the video game collection, and this thing is just huge. You can see how big this banner is compared to me, and I'll have to go ahead and get it up on display in the kiosk room where I have a lot of standees, displays, banners, and we can get this hung up and just make it look pretty awesome again. So I'm just really excited to add this in the collection. I'll have to get a little wooden dowel to just put right in here to go ahead and add some weight to it and just really make this thing look great again. So of course, all of these items are definitely some great items that you just don't see every day. A lot of these items I've actually seen for the very first time, and I knew I had to add them to the collection. I knew I had to pick them up and just try some of these items, as I knew I would probably never get another chance to actually see these out in the wild, out local and near me. And just some of these are just such great opportunities that I had, so I knew I had to pick them up for the right price at the right time. So of course, let me know which of these items you most like out of this whole video. Do you like this pretty awesome store display? Do you remember this game? Did you ever see this banner in a particular store? And then, did you ever use this pretty cool racing wheel back in the day? Did you think that you were actually really racing? And then this Atari game down there, have you ever seen one of those out in the wild? And if so, do you own that game? Is it actually a really good game, as everyone says? And then all of these Sega games over here, that pretty cool Xbox 360 prototype controller, such a great addition to my game collection. And then this War of the Monsters, I've heard amazing things about that. And then the cereal, let me know if you've ever tasted it. I wonder how it would taste today, if it would taste really stale, or if it just kind of tastes like any other cereal. So of course, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Go ahead and check out my other videos and stay tuned for more.